So welcome back to this next topic in our advanced features for Facebook groups here on our Facebook Groups Made Simple course. In this lesson, I want to help you try to organize your post. And let's think about that a little bit. How do you organize content in a way that it can help people? And in my other course, the Facebook Posting Made Simple, we talk about how you can use your post to really do three things. And I'll share those again just as a reminder that we want to create conversations with people. And by creating conversations, we're moving beyond the one-way transfer of information, and we're inviting them to participate in the conversation. And then we can use that to build relationships. And those relationships are where really discipleship happens. Truth taught in the context of relationships changes lives, and I believe that. And so in a group, it's a great place to help people really grow in their faith. And then we can, once we build those relationships, we can challenge people to take their next steps for Christ. And so that's really what we're doing with our Facebook groups. And Facebook has added a few features that will help us to do that. They will help us really engage people in conversation. They will help us organize our content so people can find what they're looking for. And so I want to take you through several things just to kind of help us understand how Facebook groups work. And so with that, I'm going to switch over and share this Facebook group that we have made just for this course. It's a private group. It's hidden. So really, you really can't find it here. But I just want to use it to show you how this works. Again, I'm going to switch this over to me, interact as myself. You can interact as the page if it's linked to your page, or as yourself. If you see here, a few things that I'll just point right out. One is, depending on the browser you're in, you also have the option to do Facebook Rooms here. This shows photo, video. You can tag people. You have filling and activities. But if you just click in the box, you get your dialog box here, and you can create your background color and do some things here. But what I want to focus on is not the photo, video, not the create room. The watch party is there now, but this is one that Facebook is taking away. Actually, at the time of this filming, they're taking away later this week. It's going away. Watch parties will no longer be available. Tag people. But if you hit this three little dots here, it goes to more. And this is really where you have a lot of options that you may not be aware of. And so let's kind of walk through those. Let's talk about how we can use them. And then we'll talk about a few other things about guides and social learning units is what they used to be called. We'll talk about post topics. But for now, let's walk through these. I hope this will be helpful to just to get you thinking a little bit. So photos, videos, you guys know how to use those. I don't think in an advanced lesson we need to talk about those too much, but just know that you can go straight here. You can add your photos and videos from this dialog box. You can create a room, which we talked about in our last lesson. How those work and how you can use those really for online meetings, and similar to Zoom. We have watch parties. That was where you could invite people to watch a Facebook video together. They're going away as of April 16th, 2021. The reason I think, and Facebook really hasn't elaborated on this, I think they want people using rooms more. So they may come out with something later to replace this or add functionality, but for now, those are going away. You can tag people. And so just remember, if you tag someone that's not in your group, they're not going to see it. So just remember that, unless it's a public group. But if you tag a person, you can use that to tag people if you put a photo, for instance, or you say, hey, we're working on a project at church and you want to tag them. It's a good way to do that. A live video. You can do live videos inside of a Facebook group. They don't have to exist only on the page. They can be inside a group. Where would this be a good way? Well, what if you had a message that you just want to share with a small group of people. Maybe it's your leadership team and you want to do a Facebook Live and share with them. Or if you want to do, again, a Bible study lesson, you could do a Facebook Live and share it within your group. Now, when you do live, it's going to ask, you want to do it immediately using your webcam and the browser you're on, or you can go and actually set it up to do Facebook Live from an external application. And so it will give you the stream key. It will give you the information you need to plug into another program. And so you could use a program like OBS. It's a free program that many churches use. It's available on Mac and Windows. OBS is a little complicated at first, but there's plenty of tutorials out there. But you can use it to have multiple camera angles, to actually show videos. I've used it before to do almost a simulated live stream where I pre-recorded a video and then used OBS to actually make it appear as I was doing it live for a church service. So you can do things like that. There's just numerous options. And so you've got OBS, you've got Ecamm on a Mac, you've got vMix on Windows, you've got Switcher Studio on iOS, different programs that you can use. You've got ProPresenter. You can stream actually straight from your presentation software now, which works really, really well. And so you can stream straight into Facebook Live, into your page or into your group. But this actually takes you right into the Facebook Live producer to give you all the information you need. You can ask for recommendations. And so how could you ask for recommendations? What about you say, hey, what's your favorite restaurant in town? And when you click this, it's going to say, hey, ask for recommendations. Where are you at? What are you looking for? Then as people comment things, it's going to link to their local businesses in Facebook. So another way to use this was to be a virtual yellow pages for your church. Hey, you've got a small business in our church. Make a recommendation. Let us know. And so therefore, everybody's going to see the different businesses represented. So you can get creative with this. And I'll just stop right here and mention something. The best way to learn all these features is to just play around with them. So inside of a leadership group, or you can create a test group. I recommend actually creating a test group with 3 or 4 of your tech savvy people and get together, and that's where you try out these features. And so you can create a private hidden group, just try out some of these features, see how they work, experiment with them, learn. That way you're not experimenting on a large group of people and it just doesn't work. So the best way, absolute way, and this really goes for almost anything computer related, is just to try it out and experiment. And so you can ask for recommendations and do it right here. A check-in. Again, you can check in and say, hey, I'm checking in and at this location. And check-ins are one of those features that we don't see used a lot, but I do as I look for the check-ins to our church page. And the reason I do so is many times visitors will say, hey, I'm at so-and-so church. And if they check into our church, then I want to follow up with them. And I use it almost like a connect card. If they check into our church, I'm commenting on that. Hey, glad you joined us this week. Do you have any questions? That's just another follow-up step. So that's there. The GIFs, GIFs, depending on your age, depending on where you're from. I've heard it pronounced a million different ways. The GIFs, you can have a lot of fun with these. So with this, you can just I encourage you to keep your Facebook group lighthearted, and so this is a great way to do that just by sharing some of those. And so if you do that, just think about how just keep it appropriate. And know the context. I've seen people share some of these images from places that really aren't appropriate and they don't know the context. So if you don't know like the movie that you're posting them from, you may want to be a little careful here, but you can just share something. Great way to lighten things up and to create conversation. A poll. Polls are great to get people interacting. Just a simple click. Hey, what do you think? It's great for sermon research for pastors. So if you're a youth leader, a children's director, a pastor, if you want to put out a question, hey, what do you think about, here are 3 options, give me your opinion. It could be something as simple and lighthearted as, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, cookies and cream, anything like that. With polls, people can add their own options too, so you just want to keep an eye on it. But polls are really a neat way to just get people coming back to your group and interacting. So that's important. So let's start talking about events here. And so we've got a couple features here. We can tag an event. We can create an event. So for events, we can tag an event, and this is just a really quick way to refer back to an event that's coming up, a Facebook event. And so if you want to tag an event, just it'll link to it. It'll give all the information. That way you don't have to copy and paste links to the event. And so this is just a quick way to tag it. You can create an event and limit the privacy of it just to people in the group. And so this would be something that if you've got a Bible study and you want to create an online event for it, then you can invite people and build some excitement. And it's really what an event does, is take your conversation about that specific event outside of the group and places it in the event. And so for some things you don't want to do that. For some things you may want to do that. And so events are, I think events work better when they're public, when people can share it with their friends. When you have an event limited to a group, I don't see as much of a need for it. It just depends. There are use cases where you may see that. The feeling and activity. This is just, if you look at feelings, there are tons of them here: happy, blessed, thankful, grateful, cool, annoyed, puzzled, all this stuff. Some good, some bad. So all these feelings are in here. This is just a way to give a little more context to your post. And so, you can do that. Then you can actually put, here's what, instead of what you're feeling, what you're attending. And so you're attending church, a wedding, a birthday party, work, a meeting. And so this, again, just adds a little more context to your post. So that's what your feeling is. Raise money. You can raise money to do fundraising. And so you have to get set up through the Facebook nonprofit. Set up all your information there for how they know where to do the money to. I think if I click it right now, it's going to ask me to select a nonprofit to support, American Cancer Society. You can actually set your church up here too as well, but you would have to do that in advance. But you could do a fundraiser to support that, to support a local event. But a fundraiser is a neat way. You've got adding files here. How do we use this? Adding files is really works well for leadership groups, for maybe some of your church boards, or your elder teams, or your deacon boards. However you're structured, if you've got files that you want to share back and forth, your leadership teams, this is a great way to do it. And whether it's a spreadsheet, a Word document, a PDF file, this gives you a framework where you can actually share files back and forth and comment on it. And so if you use Google Docs, our church, we're a big user of Google Docs. And instead of embedding the file, adding it this way, I would share a link to the Google file and have people actually interact on the file itself. But you can do all of that right here inside of your Facebook group. For your a larger church group, you may want to add files like, hey, here's permission slips. Here is information on baptism. Here is information sheets about our upcoming mission trip. That if anything they need to print out, I know that's not as common anymore, but anything they need a copy of, this is where you could add that file and have it readily available. You could do online directories if you have a PDF, I know some churches still do PDF files of their church directory, and you want to make it available to people inside of a private group, then this is a place you could do that. Then let's talk about write a prompt. This is a little bit newer. It's a little bit different. Many people don't even know about this. And if you click this, it's going to be write a prompt for people to respond to. And this is a way for you to get people to share photos inside of your page or inside of your group. So let me kind of give you an example of this. And this is, again, this is a pretty newer feature that many people don't know that's there. It reminds me almost of stories in Instagram. But if you want to, here's the example Facebook gives. It's Barbecue Sunday. Everyone share your photos. And as people share their photos, then you can swipe through and see them all. And you can even put one, when you create the post, you can create a photo to kind of get things started. And so it's just a neat way. So think about this. If you, for Easter Sunday at church, you could create a prompt for people to share photos of the morning worship service or your favorite, family tradition on Easter or what. It's just another way to get people sharing photos and kind of to crowdsource photo collection for your church for big events. So I think this is a really neat feature. And again, I don't see many churches using it, but I really do see some potential here. And you can do it from your desktop. You can do it from the app. And so you may have to explain it a little bit and get a few of your leaders using it first just for people to get the hang of it. But I think that's really neat to be able to create a prompt. So you can post a picture of, give it a background, and then you can add your own photo. So I'm going to back out of this. But anyway, that's what a prompt is. And so then we have a Q&A. And so, hey, I'm answering questions, ask me about. And so as a pastor, as a leader of a church, you could just say, hey, I'm going to be on Facebook the next hour. I want to answer any questions you have. And as people ask you questions, what it will do then, here's Facebook's example. Hey, this guy's a photographer. Ask me anything. If someone asks, what's the best thing about your city, you can answer it. And then it stacks all of your answers up in cards that you can swipe through. So you can just use this to answer questions and just as a get to know you type of event on Facebook groups. Facebook groups are all about community and getting to know one another. And so think about that. That's really where you see the power of some of these features take place. And then finally, I think the last one on this list was to create a doc. And if you do this, there we go. It's almost like a blog post. And so you could create a document. And so this is kind of interesting. You can add a photo up here. You can give it a title. You can start writing. Then there's a chat box down here at the bottom. Allow group members to edit this document. If you uncheck this, only you and your group admins can edit the document. So you could create, maybe you want a document here just explaining again what the group's about, what, or more about your church. Or you want a collaborative something and say, hey, we want to do a group story, a group post, we want to do a story about the history of our church. And so contribute to it. And you can have multiple contributors. And man, there's just so many options here. But, think about that. This is kind of another neat feature. And so, again, I'm going to X out of that. Let's see here. Let's see. All sorts of things here. This, just have fun with it. So I just share all this. Just there's lots of different things here you can do to really build those conversations. And I would probably call this post types. Now, one that's not showing up in this group, but in some of my other groups, is a brand new post type that Facebook has added, is a prayer post. And so what a prayer post is it says, hey, you choose your background, say I'm requesting prayer for, and it'll show up in the Facebook group, say Mike is requesting prayer for, and he has my prayer request. Then there's a button at the bottom you can click and say I prayed for this. And so that's encouraging to me that Facebook is being responsive to the needs of churches that they've not abandoned kind of faith communities, that they're still interested in showing how they can work with us. So that's encouraging to see. Now, a few other things I will mention. When you do post, you can also do post. You can do post topics, and so if I do my online ministry made simple community, which some of you are in, I will go here real quick. Let me go there. And now you see popular topics in post, selfie posts where people introduce themselves, resources. Let's do that. And so if I do resources, I'm going to see some resources here that I've shared. Here's a file that I've shared from Dropbox, a link. Here is a link to another church blog about why you need a Facebook group. Here's information about Canva. So I've tagged all of these with a post type, or post topic. And so you can see edit post topic right here, and you can actually give it a topic. And so these are it's a neat way to keep things organized. And so after you create, if someone posts something on your Facebook group, you can go back and kind of assign it a topic, and then that way you have things organized there. Another way you can do that is through guides. And so if you, let me go back one page and show you, under your settings for your group, you can set your group to be a social learning group, which gives you access to guides, or you can actually just turn guides on directly now, which is pretty new. But your guides, these used to be called social learning units. And now they've changed the name to guides. And it says here you can use guides to highlight important posts that you want people to read, help people learn about a specific topic or subject, organize information in a place that's easy to find. So what guides are is you create a framework. It's almost like lessons in a school study. So maybe you have for your church, if you have a discipleship process, if you're a purpose-driven church and you have your 101, 201, 301, 401 classes, you could actually put some of the information about that in here, do videos, do posts, have people work through them, take a quiz at the end and of each section, and then it shows you can actually track your group members' progression through the guides. So lots of things here. Perfect use case is a discipleship pathway for your church. If you are tracking people as they work through a process, you can use your guides to do that. I've used it for some online kind of workshops that I've done where I've put each lesson in a different guide, and you can actually track people as they go through it and see how they're doing. And so that's another use for that. I think I've seen some churches, some organizations use it as a place to put their group rules and kind of walk people through the process. Hey, we want you to have a good experience in this group. And so here's what we want you to know. These are the group rules, and that's your section 1 in your guide. Your section 2, here's what we expect from our participants in our group. And so that's session 2, and just kind of walk people through and just, you could use it to walk people through a process of kind of discovering more about your church. And so here's who we are, here's our history, here's our beliefs, and that way they're always right there at the guides. And one of the neat things about guides, you can default your group to go right to guides instead of to the discussion. So that's a feature there as well. And so, that again, this is just ways of organizing how Facebook works and how you can organize your content. So we've talked about post topics. We've talked about the guides that are built in. We've talked about all these different post types that you have. But the purpose of all of these is just to get people involved. And so I hope this has been helpful. Again, we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about one of the big topics is right here on my screen, how the new public groups experience has new admin tools. And so we're seeing a big change that Facebook is making right now as we film this about how public groups function, about really getting rid of membership and public groups. And so you're going to see a bigger divide between public groups and private groups, and we'll do a separate lesson about that. But for now, that's all in this advanced topics lesson. So thanks for joining in.